So you know that feeling when you're in a room full of people, maybe even people you adore, but inside there's this quiet hollowness, like the fizz just went out of something, or there's this little empty spot, and nobody else seems to be able to fill it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And if that sounds familiar to you listening, here's the main thing. You're not alone in that, and you're definitely not broken.
Absolutely not.
That feeling, that sense that something's missing, especially when, love and connection should be there, it's not a flaw. Think of it more like a clue, maybe.
A clue. I like that.
Like a little nudge from your inner self saying, hey, let's maybe look a bit closer here.
That's a really good way to put it. A clue, yeah. This feeling, this kind of inner vacancy, especially when life looks pretty good on the surface, it can be really, really confusing.
Right.
So our goal in this deep dive really is to explore the why. Why do we feel that? And maybe map out some paths towards feeling a bit more whole inside.
Okay. And to help us navigate this inner world, we're turning to a real explorer of the soul, Carl Jung.
Ah, Jung. Good choice.
Yeah. You picture this like thoughtful guy, maybe a bit intense, amazing wild beard.
Definitely the beard.
And just totally dedicated to understanding what makes us tick, like way down deep. Jung had this core idea, right? That we all have this inner spark, our soul. And if we just ignore it all the time, if we don't pay attention to it, we can start to feel like we're just going through the motions, like ghosts almost.
Ghosts in our own lives, yeah. Even if everything around us looks perfect externally.
Exactly.
And what's really striking is that Jung saw this profound lack in people who seem to have it all, by society's standards.
The successful ones.
The successful ones, yeah. The careers, the families, everything that supposedly equals happiness, but inside, still this underlying emptiness. He actually called it a silent existential crisis.
No, silent existential crisis.
Yeah.
Okay, let's dig into that because that sounds very relevant even now.
For sure.
But he was seeing this, a century ago? It makes you wonder if this is just baked into being human, across time.
It seems possible.
It almost reminds me of Socrates, way back, the ancient Greek guy. He said that thing, the unexamined life is not worth living. That wasn't just a clever phrase, was it?
No, not at all. And if we connect that back, Socrates' point really underlines why looking inward is so crucial.
Right.
That feeling of emptiness we're talking about, you could see it as our soul's way of basically shouting at us to do just that. Examine our lives, our inner world.
Like an alarm bell.
Exactly, an inner alarm bell saying, hey, wake up, pay attention, there's something here to understand.
Okay, now let's really focus this on relationships.
Yeah.
Because that's often where this emptiness feels the most, baffling and frankly, painful.
Definitely.
You can genuinely care about someone, love them even, feel a real connection, but still have that nagging sense that something vital is missing inside you. It's such a puzzle.
It is. And what's fascinating is how Jung tackled this puzzle. He talked about projection. That's a key idea for him in relationships.
Protection, okay.
Essentially, the idea is we often don't see our partners clearly, like who they really are. Instead, we project our own inner stuff, our needs, our unresolved issues, our baggage onto them.
So it's like we're shining a light, but the light itself is colored by our own internal mess.
That's a great analogy. Yeah. It distorts the view.
Right, like wearing funny glasses all the time. And you mentioned our stuff. It brings to mind Virginia Woolf. She was writing around the same time as Jung, wasn't she?
She was, yes, a contemporary.
And her books, like Mrs. Dalloway, they're just filled with these incredibly complex characters, often wrestling with all this inner chaos.
Absolutely.
And their relationships.
Yep.
Just as complex, just as messy, kind of mirroring all that internal struggle.
Exactly. Woolf through literature, Jung through psychology, but both were capturing that messy, intricate reality of our inner life and how it spills into our connection.
So Jung would say these relationships act like mirrors.
Yes, precisely. Mirrors reflecting back our shadow.
Okay, the shadow. That sounds a bit ominous.
Well, it's not necessarily evil or anything. It's simply the parts of ourselves we tend to push down or ignore, or maybe we're not even aware of them. The aspects we haven't quite owned or integrated.
Gotcha. So we're projecting our inner stuff. They're reflecting our shadow bits. Sounds like a recipe for confusion, at least.
It certainly can be.
And then Jung had this other layer, right? The anima and animus. Inner feminine, inner masculine. Sounds like we're getting into some deep yin-yang stuff here.
That's actually a helpful way to think about it. Yin-yang energies within us. Jung proposed that within each person, there's an anima, sort of the inner feminine principle in men.
Like intuition.
Emotionality.
Exactly. And the animus, the inner masculine principle in women. So qualities like assertiveness, logic, that kind of thing.
And these are mostly unconscious parts of our psyche. The problem comes when we unconsciously expect our partners to basically embody these energies for us.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So a guy might sort of unconsciously look to his partner to be his entire source of emotional connection and tenderness.
Projecting his anima, yeah.
Projecting his anima onto her. And a woman might unconsciously expect her partner to always be the strong, decisive leader.
Projecting her animus on.
Projecting her animus. It's like we're hunting for someone else to complete us.
Yeah.
To fill in these perceived gaps in ourselves.
Precisely that. And it's interesting, around the same time you had Friedrich Nietzsche.
Oh, yeah, him, the mustache.
The mustache, indeed, and the, let's say, moody vibes.
Definitely intense.
He was also wrestling with similar themes, especially the whole idealized idea of the eternal feminine and how we tend to build these huge myths around love, romanticize it.
Right. Nietzsche wasn't exactly Mr. Sunshine, but it's fascinating that both he and Jung, from pretty different angles, were pointing at this tendency we have to create these grand stories about love, expecting it to be this magical fix-all force.
Yeah, and if we tie this together, both of them, Jung and Nietzsche, in their own ways, were really questioning what you called the big romantic lie.
That someone else will complete us.
Exactly, that deeply rooted belief that another person can or even should make us whole. Jung had a brilliant image for this. He said seeking external completeness is like trying to fill a leaky bucket.
A leaky bucket.
Oh.
That's good. Very vivid.
Isn't it? No matter how much someone else pours into you, if the holes are within you, the bucket stays empty. The leaks remain.
Wow. Yeah, that really makes you stop and think. Because if we're always looking outside for that wholeness, that emptiness is just going to keep showing up.
It has to.
No matter how perfect the partner seems. It almost makes me think strangely of Albert Einstein.
Einstein. Okay, how so?
Well, he was busy figuring out the universe while Jung and others were mapping the psyche, right?
Right, different frontiers.
But Einstein said something about how pursuing truth and beauty lets us stay like children our whole lives.
I like that connection.
And maybe there's a part of us, that sort of childlike part, that just craves the fairy tale ending in love, that magical person fix.
Yeah, that longing is powerful. But I think Einstein, in his own pursuit of deep truth, would probably agree implicitly with Jung. The real magic, the lasting kind of fulfillment, it's not out there.
It's in here.
It's in the inner journey, yeah.
Yep.
Self-discovery, stop looking for a savior out there, start looking within.
Okay, so if looking outward isn't the sustainable answer, what is? Jung talked about individuation. Sounds a bit technical.
It can sound that way, yeah. But let's break it down.
Please.
At its core, individuation is really just the lifelong process, the journey of becoming a whole, integrated self.
Whole and integrated.
Yeah, think of it as bringing all the different parts of you, including that shadow we mentioned.
Right, the bits we push away.
Your inner masculine, feminine energies, your fears, your dreams, all of it, bringing it into your conscious awareness and learning to accept and integrate it.
So it's not about being perfect.
Not at all. It's about embracing the whole package. The good, the bad, the messy, like thoroughly cleaning out your mental attic.
Ooh, the mental attic. I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Probably lots of dusty boxes up there.
Exactly. Facing all those tucked away things, maybe things that make you uncomfortable.
And Jung didn't just think this up in his study, right? He went through this himself, that whole Red Book thing.
Precisely. His own deep dive into his unconscious was incredibly intense, transformative for him. The Red Book is like his log, his map of that inner journey with pictures and text.
Wow.
It wasn't just theory for him. It profoundly shaped his understanding, changed his own relationships, how he lived. He really walked the talk.
So he lived it.
Yeah.
And the idea then is, as we do this inner work, is getting to know your own attic process, our relationships start to shift.
They have to, really.
To stop being about trying to patch the leaky bucket.
Exactly. They become less about desperation and more about genuine connection, real exchange between two people who are both working on becoming whole in themselves.
Rather than leaning on each other to fill the gaps.
Right. It's less codependent, less about trying to get unmet needs met by the other person. The whole energy changes. It's more about sharing fullness than filling emptiness.
Okay, that sounds potentially really challenging, though. Facing the shadow stuff doesn't sound like a walk in the park.
No, fair enough. It definitely can be uncomfortable. Confronting parts of ourselves we'd rather not look at.
Like staring down a grumpy cat you've been avoiding?
Maybe. But think of it like this. Imagine your inner self, your soul, is like your smartphone.
Okay.
If you never check in, never do the updates, always let the battery run down to 0, it's not going to work very well, is it?
No, definitely not. Mine's always dying.
Right. So doing that inner work is like checking in, updating your internal software, making sure your core energy, your battery, is charged up.
Okay, the smartphone analogy, I like that. Makes it feel a bit more manageable.
Good.
So as we do this internal maintenance, these mirrors, our relationships, they start reflecting something different.
Exactly.
Not a quick fix anymore, but maybe more of a flow, something more authentic.
Precisely. A flow is a great word. You gradually stop needing to rely on someone else to make you feel alive or complete.
Because you're cultivating it yourself.
Yes, you cultivate that wholeness, that aliveness from within, and then you bring that spark, your own, more realized self, to the table in your relationship.
So we kicked this off talking about that feeling of emptiness, which can feel so much like an end point, like something's wrong. But really, what you're saying is it can be the start, a powerful starting point for this really crucial journey inward.
Absolutely. That initial ache, that lack, it's often the motivator, the very thing that pushes us to look for something deeper, more real inside ourselves.
And thinking back on our historical dream team here.
Aha, yeah.
Socrates saying, know yourself. Wolf showing the messy beauty of being human. Nietzsche and Jung poking holes in our love myths.
And Einstein.
Right? Yeah. Reminding us about that inner search for truth. They all kind of point in this direction, don't they?
They really do. Each offers a different valuable piece of the puzzle, a different lens on this feeling and the path forward.
And like we said, that path, that journey inward, it's not always smooth sailing.
Definitely not.
Oh, believe me, I think we've all tripped over our own shadows more than a few times.
Part of the process.
But maybe it's about seeing that emptiness not as failure, but as an invitation to see what's waiting to be uncovered inside.
An invitation is a lovely way to think about it.
So here's the thought I'm kind of left with, and maybe you listener too. What if the love, the completeness we're chasing isn't really out there waiting to be found, but it's actually in here, waiting to be uncovered?
Yeah.
What if that emptiness is just your soul kind of nudging you, saying, hey, there's a whole world in here. Let's explore. Let's dance.
That's a really powerful question to sit with. And like you said earlier, the answers aren't always quick or easy. It's an ongoing thing, this self-discovery.
Absolutely. A continuous unfolding, for sure. Heck, I'm still figuring this stuff out myself.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. And maybe the most important first step is just listening, paying attention to those quiet moments, those pangs of something missing.
Listening is key.
Asking yourself, okay, what might my inner self, my soul, be trying to tell me right now? And then I guess being willing to actually hear the answer.
And take the next step.
Exactly. Because that next step, that deeper look, ultimately, it's yours to take.
Well said.
Thank you.